Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the University of Wollongong webinar for international students. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Lively. I'm an education planner at IAE Global Sydney. Before we get into the main session today, I would like to start by introducing IAE Global Sydney first. IAE is one of the world's leading international education recruitment and management consultancies. Established in 1992, we have been assisting countless international students with their study plans, school applications, enrollments, and student visa for almost 30 years now. We have 70 support offices in 16 countries, including Australia, China, Korea, Japan, India, Vietnam, Thailand, and many other countries as well. As a global company, our services are provided through a wide range of ways, including online and social media platforms in many different languages. So please feel free to contact us if you have any queries for the future education plans in Australia. Our friendly staff will be available for you for professional free counseling. Today, we're very happy to partner with University of Wollongong, which is one of the world's most respected modern universities in Australia. UOW is an Australian public research university located in the coastal city of Wollongong, New South Wales. Wollongong University's success is reflected in global awards and rankings, where UOW graduates and teachers are recognized as some of the best in the world. Today's webinar will be a great opportunity to learn about UOW and its study areas and degrees, as well as scholarships and employment opportunities, and much more. As a participant, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions. So please leave your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and they'll be answered at the Q&A session. Now, without further ado, let's get into the main session. I would like to introduce today's speaker, Tom Keenan, Global Student Recruitment Manager.
Thanks very much, Lively. Really appreciate you organising this event today. And of course, IAE is one of our key partners, and you've referred many students to us over the years, and some really great quality students who've come to study with us and carve out great careers. So today I'd like to introduce the University of Wollongong and zoom in on a few of the courses that we offer there, opportunities for scholarships, and like you said, opportunities for future careers. So let's jump straight into it. And yeah, welcome to everyone, whether you're in Australia or offshore. It's a real pleasure to be able to present to you today. So here we go, the University of Wollongong. University of Wollongong, for the majority of international students, they'll go to one of three campuses. So we have our Sydney Business School, which is in Sydney, in Circular Quay, so a very iconic location where you're looking out over Sydney Harbour, over the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. So that's where you do postgraduate business studies. And then we have another campus in Sydney, but it's about 35 minutes by train from the CBD to Liverpool. And this is our own campus there, a smaller campus. And that focuses on business and IT and nursing and social work. And then the big one is Wollongong proper campus, which is the main campus in Wollongong. And that's considered by definition as being a regional area of Australia. Even though it is very close to Sydney, it is considered regional. But we're not just a domestic university in Australia. We are very much a global university, and we've had offshore campuses for a long time. So for example, in Dubai, we've been offering courses there since 1996. More recently, we've got campuses in Hong Kong and Malaysia, and these campuses are fully owned by the University of Wollongong. In addition to that, we have offshore partners in China and Singapore where we do twinning arrangements. And anyone who comes from our offshore campuses does part of their degree offshore and then comes to Australia onshore, will get a 25% discount as an alumni of the University of Wollongong. Wollongong itself is a really pretty city. It's in between the Pacific Ocean and the Illawarra Escarpment, which is a sort of low mountain range behind Wollongong. So it's a long, narrow strip that where the city of Wollongong occupies on the coast. It's quite an easy city to navigate. It's fairly compact, but it's really pretty. About 300,000 people live in Wollongong, and culturally it's very diverse. So it's sort of like a snapshot of Sydney, but just in a smaller area. Really good climate, and you can see a lovely view of the campus. So that top picture in the middle is our campus, and on the left-hand side you can see the view out over Mount Kira Lookout, looking out over the Pacific Ocean and over Greater Wollongong. Directly underneath that lookout is where the university is located. And then on the right-hand side, you can see one of our lovely beaches. So this is the South Beach at Wollongong, and that's literally a 5-minute walk from downtown. You've got beautiful ocean, it's warm. At this time of year, you'd just be swimming in board shorts or a swimsuit. So it's super warm, it's easy, and it's all really close. When you study in Wollongong, it's affordable. So it's more affordable than living in Melbourne or living in Sydney. And a good example of that is our bus system. So we have a bus system where it's free to get around town. So they've got 3 different routes around town, and students can go for free. But not only students, anyone can do it. So if you have the students' parents or your friends visiting town, anyone can use those free buses, which is really nice. There's also lots of work at the moment in Wollongong. Obviously, with international students being away for a long time, there's lots of vacancies, and domestic tourism is still quite strong. So there's plenty of work to do while you're studying. I said before that Wollongong is like a snapshot of Sydney, and it's culturally diverse. Here's some examples of some of the types of food and services that are available. So you have Asian groceries there. You have different flavors of food, whether you're looking for halal food or Asian food or simply a bubble tea, it's all there. Wollongong as a university, it's quite large. Even though it's a young university, we've got 35,000 students, a lot of them offshore international students. And as we build up the numbers, as students start returning to Australia, that number will increase in Australia as well. But 160,000 alumni for what is a pretty young university, and considered to be the number 10 university in Australia. So just outside the group of 8. Speaking of that group of 8 and rankings, well, Wollongong is quite highly ranked. So we are a top 200 university in the world. We're a 5-star university. We're actually 14th in the world for 50 under 50, which means top 50 universities under 50 years old. And then in certain subjects like mining, material science, civil engineering, we really have quite high rankings. A lot of people do come to us to study things like engineering and IT. We're quite strong in that. And then we have the accreditations. So a lot of you will be familiar with accreditations. Some of the accreditations up here like CPA, ACCA, ACS, which is the Australian Computer Society. Then there's ones that you may not be as familiar with, like Group of 8, Engineering Associate. So we are highly ranked for engineering. Therefore, we get this associate membership to the Group of 8 for engineering. SAS, that's to do with business analytics. So I'll show you an example of that on this slide here. So if you do a Master of Business Analytics, not only will you get your master's certificate or your qualification, you'll also get an SAS qualification, which is really useful because that's the gold standard in business analytics. Okay, Now, thinking about some of the students who might be a bit younger or coming out of high school, or maybe just need a little bit of English, we have a college on the campus. In fact, we have the college on the campus and also at our Liverpool campus. And here we offer a range of pathway programs. And interestingly, we have about 50% local students studying at the college. So typically when you think about an international college, you're thinking about, oh, it's only international students, but actually we have a lot of Australian students studying with us. So it helps students in their first year really integrate well with the Australian students, learn a bit of the local slang or idiom, and learn a bit of local knowledge, know which are the best beaches to go, where to go shopping, get some local intel from the Aussies who live in Wollongong. So the type of courses that we offer at the college are diploma programs in business, engineering, IT, and nursing. These lead into the second year of university. The nursing one's got a little star next to it because it does have it doesn't have a guarantee to go into the second year of nursing. There is a quota, so you do need to be considered on a case-by-case basis. But with business, engineering, and information technology, as long as you get the grades, then you're guaranteed entry into second year. In addition to that, we have foundation studies that leads into a whole range of first year programs and diploma programs. And lastly, we have English language programs. So we have EAP, which is for the sort of, I guess, the lower level students. And then we have English for tertiary studies, which is for the students who just missed out on direct entry to university and they just need to top up their English. We also have a specialist course in nursing, so English for nursing, which will teach you the nursing vernacular or the nursing vocab / language that you need to understand to do nursing. Now, it is English for nursing, but with nursing, like pretty much every nursing course in Australia, you still need to go and do an IELTS to get entry into nursing. And that's an IELTS of 7 to go into nursing. So whether you like it or not, you have to get that 7. That's just the way it is. Okay, so a little bit about some of the other campuses. In Sydney, we have the Sydney Business School, and that's in the CBD, looking out over the harbour. It's an AACSB accredited business school, which puts it in the top 5% in the world of business schools. And you can see the range of courses that we offer here. So Master of Business, MBA, HR management, supply chain management, and you can do two degrees in 2 years. So any of the degrees that you do will have 6 common credits that go into the next degree. And for a lot of students, studying 2 years at master's level is really important to them when they're thinking about staying long-term in Australia. So it's quite influential when it comes to your post-study work considerations. Then we have the Southwest Sydney campus in Liverpool. That's right next to Liverpool Station. It's a very culturally diverse part of Sydney. So, any type of food that you want there, whether you want to have a banh mi or a pho or a Korean barbecue, it's all out there. So it's a nice place to study. It's also a little bit more affordable to study out in the west of Sydney. And you can see the range of courses that we have there. So there's business, there's IT, nursing, social work, health leadership. These are courses that are typically quite popular with international students. And we have a few pathway courses there too. Now, when we think of Wollongong, we think of it as a comprehensive university. So everything from arts and business right through to medicine and law and science we've got, and anything else in between. So basically, if you can think it, we've probably got it. Some of the courses that we really get a lot of students coming for are computer science. At the moment, after 2 years of having this pandemic, there's a lot of need for people to be problem solvers in the IT industry or applying IT fixes to a whole variety of industries. So whether that be software engineering or security or big data, companies are really looking for people who've got skills in computer science or IT. So that's one that you should give a lot of consideration to. And, you know, our graduates do really well. You can see some good examples here of people who've gone on to study at Google, at Johnson & Johnson, or not study, to work at Google, Johnson & Johnson, and Amazon. So things like network design, web design, and development, these are all things that people are crying out for at the moment. Business information systems, again, another area where you're applying your skills to real world problems. Now, Wollongong is also home to a lot of world-class research, and we have research facilities on our campus. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of those facilities. So this is the Early Start facility, and it's actually a childcare centre on the campus of the university. And here we use our children. They're part of our teaching process, and we use different forms of curriculum and equipment and training on them to understand how they react to different teaching methodology. So it's a great way to be able to interact with the children on the campus in a real world environment. Oops. Another one that we have is the Australian Institute for Innovative Materials, and this is on our innovation campus. So in Wollongong, we have the main campus, and then down on the beach, we have what we call the innovation campus. And here we have a whole lot of labs that are designing and fabricating equipment, inventions, innovation, technology. So it really is about innovation. And we have both existing companies and we have startup companies, so startup incubator companies that are based on this campus. And they're doing a whole range of things from online ticketing to banking. And another good example is there's a company on the campus called DropPoint, and what they do is transport logistics, and they have drop points all over Australia. And for companies that are servicing in the field, for example, elevator companies, air conditioning, that type of thing, this company has drop points where they can put their equipment all over Australia, so they don't have to have warehouses in different places storing equipment. So that's a good example of a company that's innovative, embracing technology, but they also employ international students. So that particular company has about 4 or 5 international students. Some of them are working at the moment full-time, and some of them are studying and working part-time, but they're getting good money. So they're getting around $70,000, $80,000 a year to work at DropPoint, and they're carving out a career, getting really good work experience in a professional environment and putting what they've learnt to work. Okay, we also have the ANCORS Institute, and this is a collaboration between the university and the Australian Navy, and it focuses on ocean law, policy, the blue economy, fisheries and management. So basically the sustainable use of fisheries. So that's another interesting one, which is very specific to our coastal location. Now, I know a lot of you are interested in scholarships. Things have been pretty tough the last few years. So we've come to the party on scholarships, and we have some merit-based scholarships, but we also have standard scholarships. I'll talk a little bit first about the merit-based one. They're 30%, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. Postgraduate's only for coursework, and there are some exclusions. So you can see the exclusions there on certain courses. But basically what we do is when you make an application to us, we will consider you automatically. So if you have excellent results from high school or from university, then we'll consider you automatically. There's no separate application. But when you get your letter of offer, you also get a letter of scholarship offer. Okay. But if you don't get one of them, you will be eligible for a 20% scholarship. And that's for all nationalities. So it doesn't matter what country you come from, you will get a 20% scholarship to study with the University of Wollongong. Now, The other good news is that we haven't put up our fees for a long time. Since 2019, we've kept the same fee structure. So you can see here, Bachelor of Business Administration is $30,000 or just over $30,000. That's the same price as we had in 2019. So it's very reasonable. And when you put your scholarship on top of that, it's actually even better. So if you think about, regional location, the ranking of the university is top 10 in Australia, the affordability, the ability to get a scholarship, it's a really strong proposition. And obviously the affordability of living in Wollongong. You can see there the ATAR scores that are required to get into the university. So ATAR is local year 12 in Australia. So that would give you an idea of what it might be like in your country. We do have a fair few local credit transfers. So if any of you are currently in Sydney studying, you can jump on our website and have a look at our credit transfers. Maybe some of you are studying at one of these colleges right now. Typically, you can get anywhere between 6 and 12 months of credit towards your degree from studying at some of these places. Okay, so a little bit of a map of the university here, or of Wollongong. So before I mentioned those routes where we have the free buses, so you can see the red one there, the blue one and the black one. So this red one going around town, that's a free bus. We've got another one around here, takes you all around the beach and through the downtown, and then another one in the middle here. Okay. When you come to Wollongong, students typically get off at North Wollongong Station if they're coming from Sydney. So going up north, that's, as I'll move the cursor up here, that's going north to Sydney, and then going south towards Bateman's Bay, Ulladulla, Nowra. But yeah, North Wollongong is where you get off at for the university, and there's always a bus waiting there for you. And that bus just takes 5 minutes to get you to the university. It's free of charge, and they're absolutely welcoming of international students. They love having international students in Wollongong. People are pretty friendly and laid back in Wollongong. So I think you feel really comfortable there. The Innovation Campus is right here on the beach. And typically what you'll find in Wollongong is the further north you go towards Sydney, the more expensive the rental accommodation is, and probably a little bit harder to find because there's a lot of owner occupiers in these northern parts of Wollongong. So people are owning houses there. But as you go further south, you have more availability of accommodation and it's more affordable. Having said that, we do have accommodation on the campus. So we have Coolabong Village on the campus, which is really beautiful, and it's just a 1-minute walk to the to your classes and onto the campus. Speaking of the campus, it's a really pretty campus, and I'll show you a video in a few minutes of the campus. If anyone here's ever been to America, it's got a real American style to it, in that everything that you could possibly want or need is on the campus, and it's kind of like a rainforest with buildings. So yeah, everything you need's there. For those of you living in Australia, you'll know that we have big supermarkets here, Coles, Woolworths, Aldi and IGA. We have an IGA on the campus, so a big supermarket on the campus. We've got a big post office on the campus. We've got dentists, doctors, massive gym, Olympic-sized swimming pool, heaps of clubs, lots of things to do. With our Careers Centre, our students get to use that 2 years after they graduate. We've got lots of programs to help you connect with industry, and we have mentors that you can connect with. We also have a really unique program called the UOWx Awards. So when you study at university, it's not just about doing your course. You can also do extracurricular activities. And what we do is we record your extracurricular activities, and we'll give you a transcript at the conclusion of your studies so that you can show your potential employer this is my qualification, but here's all the other things that I did when I was at university. And those extracurricular activities can be things like leadership, public speaking, innovation, creativity, collaboration. And it's not just about the piece of paper, it's actually about what you did with those people on the campus and the experience that you gained. So it's quite unique. It's a bit of an American style thing, but I think it's something that's really powerful and our students love it. So here are the key dates for studying with us. So we've got the orientation coming up in a few weeks' time, 22nd of February, and the commencements on the 28th of February. And then a census date, that's when you need to pay your fees by, completely pay your fees, is the 31st of the month. Now, there's probably a few questions about what's happening with face-to-face learning versus online learning. Well, we are going back to face-to-face learning on the campus, but we will also have lots of availability of online learning. So it's a hybrid style of learning at the university. So not every class will be face-to-face, and we'll be, being on the campus, there's lots of sanitizer, there's lots of traffic directions so that people are moving in one direction on campus. So you're not sort of crossing each other in doorways. You come in one door, go out the other door. So less chances of spreading the dreaded COVID. Yeah. So lots of thought has been put into creating a safe environment on the campus. Okay, I was going to talk quickly about a couple of degrees that we've got that are popular for both onshore and offshore students. One of those is the Master of Social Work. That's a 2-year master degree, and we have 2 sessions a year within that degree. So meaning that the first session is at February intake and the second session is the July intake or the July session. So you do 24 credits in your February intake or February session and another 24 credits in your July session. With this one, we're looking for students who've got a background in social sciences, arts, community welfare. You do need to have an IELTS of 7, but you can do a pathway through our college to come through if you don't have that IELTS of 7. Only a February intake, unfortunately, and the course fee is $63,000. So the sort of things that you'd study in broad terms are communication skills, social work concepts, social justice principles, community engagement skills, and then you do a placement in a human service agency. Now, coming out of 2 years of lockdown and pandemic in Australia, there's a big need for social workers in Australia. A lot of people have been stressed and they've gone through a lot of challenges over the last 2 years. So now more than ever, this is a really relevant area to be studying in and working in later. This will show you this slide shows you a couple of the courses that you'll do in year 1. So you can see your 24 credit points in the first session and another 24 in the second session, including your professional placement, which is the equivalent of 12 credit points. And then year 2, a very similar setup, and you can see the professional placement, 12 credit points, and you have 1,000 hours work experience. Okay, so 500 in each year. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a sense of the structure of the courses that we offer at postgraduate level. At undergraduate level, typically the courses are 3 years and sometimes 4 years if they're an honours degree. For Masters of Social Work, the type of areas that you would be working in, mental health, criminal justice, youth justice, disabilities, child protection, that sort of thing. And the salary that you can get is pretty good, you know. So coming into the profession, $87,000 a year is the average salary. And the sort of titles that you'd have working in this industry might be a social work teacher, child and family social worker, healthcare social worker. And you can see some examples here of jobs that really get into very good territory in terms of wages. So over $100,000 type jobs that we're looking at. Then another course that I've put in here because it's got 2 intakes is the Master of Health Informatics. So again, it's a 2-year degree. It's only on our main campus at Wollongong, and we're looking for people who've come from either an IT or a health background to take on this course. You need an IELTS of 6.5, and really it's about people who can problem solve in the health industry. And I think we know, again, because of the pandemic, there's been a lot of challenges in that area. So particularly in Australia, we've had problems with wait times for ambulances, having the right equipment in the right places, having the right people in the right places, having PPE, the protective equipment available. So the people who work in this type of area would be really problem solving, making sure we have the right equipment, the right people, the right policies in place to be able to make things work in that sector. Again, it's a really well-paid sector, and these are the types of roles that you go into. So an IT project manager, chief medical information officer, clinical information analyst. So just that's a snapshot of some of the things that you could end up doing. I think I've taken you to perhaps the last slide here. Yes, I have. But what I wanted to do before we had some Q&A was show you a video of the campus and a little bit about the UOWx awards, and then we can have some Q&A. So just give me a minute while I tee that up. Okay. Okay, hopefully you can all see and hear what's going on here. Let me know if you can't. Beautiful beaches. That's a downtown in Wollongong, the local shopping centre. You can see it's a really green campus. There's the Innovation Campus, just overlooking the beach. All right, and I just wanted to give you a little quick snapshot. A little bit of a snapshot of the UOWx program.
When you're at university, you don't just learn in the classroom. There are so many activities to get involved in, some related to your coursework and others in a completely different discipline. Through all of those activities, you're not only having fun and meeting new friends, but you're also learning lots of different skills. UOWx connects you with the valuable co-curricular activities that are on offer at the University of Wollongong and recognises the knowledge and skills you've acquired when you graduate.
Getting involved is a fun and exciting way to engage with your peers and create networks that can support you long into the workforce once you leave UOW. Employers get excited about creative graduates who can move with the ever-changing workforce.
UOWx recognises over 170 co-curricular activities on campus, so no matter what you're studying, you can find something that's right for you. The personal and professional development that you gain through these activities is formally recognised through the UOWx Record, Learning Stream Awards and UOWx Award.
Awarded at graduation, the UOWx Record is a transcript of your co-curricular involvement. This formal endorsement from the university showcases your development as an aspiring professional.
So I started UOWx as soon as I heard about it, which was during orientation week. So I've been at it more or less since day one. And they run a whole different range of programs that you can engage with. So these are often like customised towards the students. So one was about public speaking, another one was about leadership. So I've really enjoyed those seminars. But being able to come out of the end of a degree with not just like a piece of paper saying I have completed a degree in XYZ, but having also a certificate that shows that I have developed as a person. I have a range of skills that I've been able to develop and engage with outside of my degree is really important.
All of the UOWx recognised activities are categorised into 7 different learning streams.
Students who are committed to a particular learning stream can apply for a UOWx Learning Stream Award. All you need to do is complete 2 co-curricular activities from that stream, 1 workshop or conference, and a 100-word reflective piece.
I'm a wellbeing student leader and I've been involved in that role since the beginning of the year. It has helped me develop confidence and organisational skills as well as social skills that'll help me in my degree.
Okay, I'll leave that one there. And I'll open the floor to any questions. I think there might already be a couple of questions.
All right.
Thanks, Lively.
No worries. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much, Tom, for sharing the information. And I hope all of you found this session useful. Now we can start the Q&A session. So if there is anyone who has any questions, please feel free to pop those in the Q&A box now. We're happy to answer those questions.
Okay, well, I can see a few questions here, so I might run through them and attempt to answer them.
Sure.
Okay, so I've got a first question here. If I completed more than 2 years study in Australian uni, can I enter a Master of Nursing directly, or I still need to provide an English test result? You still do need to provide an English test result. It's just that is the requirement for nursing. Nursing is very different to literally any other course. So you do need to provide that IELTS 7. The second question, can I take the online course for nursing? Unfortunately, no, that's not one that you can take online. It is a very practical course. Okay. Do you need the applicant to have a cognate bachelor degree or prerequisite course for Master of Social Work? Yes, you do. So yeah, you need to have something that's very related to social work. And I think I've put that up in the presentation before, so you probably typed that at the beginning of the presentation. Okay, I want to know whether you have a 1-year master program. I think most of our masters are 1.5 to 2 years in length. So the answer is no on that one. How many intakes for the Bachelor of Nursing? Only the one, and no, you can't do it online. So just the 1 intake in February. Okay. What's the English requirement for a Master of Social Work? I think that's a 7, an IELTS of 7. And yes, we do take a PTE. And on our website, there is an equivalency table for PTE versus IELTS and TOEFL. So you can definitely find that on the website. Okay, I'm interested in the Master of Health Informatics. Yes, you do require an IT or a health background to get onto that one. Oh, thank you. What's the English requirement? That is a 6.5 on the Master of Health Informatics. How much would be the minimum payment to get the COE? Okay, so normally what we require is the first session to get the COE plus your overseas health cover. So, for example, if you were doing a Bachelor of Business and it was $30,000 a year, then you would need to pay $15,000 upfront and your overseas health cover. Hopefully that makes sense. When I complete a Master of Nursing, can I apply for a registered nurse in Australia? Yes, you can apply for a registered nurse in Australia, but you need to follow all of their requirements. Can I receive more than 2 scholarships at UOW? Wow, you must be very smart. Okay, so the way our scholarships work is when you get the scholarship, I should have mentioned this before, when you get the scholarship, it's actually valid for the duration of your study. So if you get awarded a 20% scholarship on a Bachelor of IT, you're going to get the 20% in year 1, 2, and 3. So you wouldn't be able to get more than 2 scholarships at once, but I think it's pretty good that you get the scholarships for the duration of your studies. With some courses, you will need to keep up a GPA to do that, but it's not crazy high. Do you offer accommodation scholarships to students? We don't have any accommodation scholarship students at the for students at the moment, but we're pretty reasonable in terms of the accommodation fees. It's around about $300 to $340 a week, and it's really high quality accommodation. Like it's better than a lot of hotels that you'd stay in. It's got awesome facilities. You've got laundry facilities. You've got an indoor and outdoor cinema on the campus accommodation. You've got ping pong tables everywhere. You've got nice relaxation areas, and it's really close. The accommodation is close to the college on the main campus. It's also close to the supermarket. So if you want to grab food, it's really close. The only thing it's not close to is the gym, but that's all right. You know, you need to warm up before you get there. So it takes you about 10 minutes or so to walk across campus to get to the gym. You can use that as your warm-up jog. Yeah. So those are the, there are more questions. Does UOW offer internship program? Yes, we do. A lot of our programs will have work integrated learning, particularly courses like teaching, like social work, like early childhood studies. They definitely have work integrated learning or internships. There's another question here. If I completed a 1-year vet course in Australia, can you waive my IELTS to get into your bachelor degree? We'd have to look at what you've studied, but yeah, there's definitely potential for you to get an IELTS waiver. Yep. Regarding the 20 or 30% scholarships, do you have the GPA requirement for students to keep it for the whole? Yes, we do. And that will differ from course to course, but typically it's not crazy high. It's typically like 50% or 55%, that type of thing. If you're looking for, I'll just give me a moment. I'm going to find the link where it shows us what you need to get a scholarship from your country. That's YouTube, don't want that. Okay, just give me a moment and I will show you So this is, just go to share screen. Okay, so this is a page on our website which will show you what you need to do. I'm assuming that we have a few people from, let's say, there might be, I've seen a couple of Indian names here, so I'm going to go to India. So these are entry requirements to get in to the university, but then we have scholarship requirements. So for example, if you've studied in India and you got 85% from ICSE or CBSE, that means you're going to get an undergraduate excellence scholarship. If you've studied from a bachelor, the postgraduate one, from a Section 1 bachelor, it's 55% to get your 30% scholarship. From a Section 2, it's 60% to get your 30% scholarship. So you can look up on our website to find out, okay, can I get a scholarship? Let's go to Japan and find out, okay, what do I need from high school to get an undergraduate scholarship? I need to get 4.4 to get that. Or if I've been to university, I need 80% in order to get a 30% scholarship. Okay. So I hope that's useful to everyone. And are there any other, I'll just check if there's any other questions that have come through in the meantime. Okay. Does UOW have a plan to arrange an airline to take UOW students back to Australia like other universities? It's a good question. I'm going to start fueling up the private jet and we'll get it over there. No, but honestly, the borders are open at the moment and we're ready to take students. So as long as you're double vaxxed with the approved vaccines and you've got a valid student visa, you can just get on a normal commercial flight to come to Australia. So no problems there. There's no specific charter flights or anything. That was the situation a few months back, but now you can just come on regular commercial flights. Can I transfer between different campuses of UOW? Yes, of course, as long as the course is on offer at those campuses and within Australia, but you can also transfer from Hong Kong to Australia or Dubai to Australia or Malaysia to Australia. So that's a really good thing about being a global university. If I graduate from UOW Sydney, will the graduation certificate indicate the Sydney campus on it? No, it'll just be a standard testament for the University of Wollongong. So it's just standard, everyone's standard. Okay, sorry, it's all vanilla. Okay, what do you have English placement tests? If I pass, we don't have a placement test at the moment, so you'll need to go and do one of the official tests. We are accepting online IELTS and online TOEFL. So if in your country you're having problems going to a physical face-to-face test, you can do an online version of it, and that's perfectly acceptable. We are accepting IELTS and TOEFL tests up to 2 years. 2 years, so normally it'd be 1 year, so now we're doing 2 years because it's a little bit more difficult for people to go out and get tested. Some really good questions here. I'm super impressed. It shows that you've been, interested in what I've got to say and you want to learn more, so that's great.
Yeah, we've had many questions. Thanks all for your active participation in the Q&A session today. So if we don't have any more questions, I think this brings us to the end of the webinar today. If you've got more questions, just feel free to ask us. Just contact IAE Sydney. We'll be able to help you further. Okay, thank you, Tom, again for sharing the useful information with us today. And thank you, each one of you, for participating in today's webinar again. I'm looking forward to seeing you when the border, when everything is okay. And hopefully we can see you at another session in the future. Thanks again, and wish you all the best and have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.